am back. I am back, beautiful people. Wow, the rabbit holes are always interesting. So I'm still looking down the rabbit hole of Darriynn Brown in the charges. And I have discovered that there are two burglary charges. And the breakdown of the charge is basically the two charges would be enters a habitation or a building, any portion of a building, not then open to the public, with the intent to commit a felony, theft, or an assault. That is what he has been accused of for cash and for something in February, which I believe is what the news was referring to when they said that criminal records show that he tried to get into a neighbor's home, assaulted the neighbor, and tried to kidnap their young granddaughter, and that person did not call the cops at that time. That is one of his charges, and it goes back to February, but it was just charged because the neighbor didn't call the cops until 3 days after Cash was found dead. So that's suspect in itself. I mean, how do we even know it happened? But in either case, this is the arraignment sheet for that particular case number. And there is a $50,000 bond amount because they broke it into two. So injury to child or elderly disabled with intentional bodily injury. So I guess that's the alleged assault portion. And then burglary, habitation, intend other felony is because this elderly person said he also tried to kidnap my granddaughter. There's a $75,000 bond for that one. So that one charge has two components. And so far I haven't seen any proof. That's all I'm saying. I would love to see that since that's on his record. If he did it, he did it. Absolutely. But we just want to make sure, once again, the right person goes down. I mean, if we're claiming justice for anybody, we got to claim justice for everybody. That's just my opinion. So I thought that this was interesting, and I am digging deeper into the actual court records right now. That was the case number, where is it? Clause number. Oh, there it is. F2175907 Dallas PD. To be honest, let me check something. I believe that that particular case number, let me just double check. Exactly. That case number there it is. Okay. So that's two. We actually are looking at two. It's not one case number with two components. I apologize. It's two different case numbers, just like it looks like, but I didn't realize they were both on the misdemeanor case information sheet that we looked at. But it is. So those two are tied together. And then there's a separate charge of burglary. And that's the one we're going to look at now. Okay, I'm going to change the case number now. 2175850. This is, did I do that right? Yep. This is the other burglary, habitation, intent to commit felony, the same thing we just talked about. So let's go. Okay, so here we are. Let's take a look. Starting on the 16th, Vienna Convention, Max Admon. Not sure what that means. Conditions of bond, election of counsel, appointment of attorney, motion, appoint investigator, order, appoint investigator. Okay. Let's see. Order Appoint Investigator. What's that about? So, order appointing investigator came on to be considered the motion for appointment investigator of defendant Gordon Kirk in this case. Upon consideration of the motion and argument of counsel, it is hereby granted. The court hereby appoints Sammy Glaspie to provide investigative services to defendant and to his or her counsel in order to assist the defendant's counsel in representing the defendant in this case. The court hereby authorizes the payment of reasonable investigative fees and expenses upon submission of a statement of the fees and expenses incurred, granted for a sum of $2,000 without additional request. Interesting. So Gordon Kirk, defendant Gordon Kirk. Well, we haven't heard his name. And let me look at my list here. 848. Okay, so that's the kidnap and the burglary charge. So you know what? I think I actually mixed it up. Let me check something out right now because we are not going to have that. All right. So if Gordon Kirk is the 850 case number and the 848 kidnap, the burglary and the kidnap, I need to take a look at .908 again. Bear with me one moment. I am going to double check something. Okay, so no, I wasn't tripping. The case number ending in 908 is the one that has the February date. So I can't say why we have this gentleman's name in here. I need to get back to him. Which one did we go into? It was not that. Bond findings. Yeah, it was the motion. Okay, here we are. The order appointing the investigator. Because we see the investigator's name, but there's another name in here that I have not seen or heard, and we're going to have to dig into Gordon Kirk, excuse me, because I'm thinking that's the name of the neighbor that was allegedly assaulted and his granddaughter would be taken, and so the state is helping him to do the investigation. I don't see where he ties into Monica. We've heard all kinds of names over there. Monica, Darriynn, Cameron, but I haven't heard Gordon in that case. So I don't know why the case numbers are working out the way they are, but this to me sounds like the other situation. Because why would they have Gordon Kirk being granted money to pay for an investigator in Monica and Cash and Darriyn's case? You see what I'm saying? I guess we'll have to keep digging. Maybe the case numbers are weird or something, but we do know that they paid for an investigator for Gordon Kirk. And the investigator's name, Sammy Glaspie. So let's just keep on digging. Okay, let's go back. We don't need that anymore, because we have another case number. So let's put that one there. We have not looked up this one. It doesn't start with F. It's an MA. 215 5422. Uh-oh. Gotta fix that. Damn it. Sorry, y'all. Got big fingers, I guess. 215 5422. Interesting. Let me double check. MA 215-5422. You can look it up for yourself. That is the evade arrest charge. Absolutely no documents found. So, that's all the charges. So, one of them is tied together, burglary and kidnapping. Oh my gosh. And then there is burglary and endanger to a child. Those two are tied together. The fifth charge of MA 215-5422, evading arrest. Maybe that one won't stick because, like I said, was he really? I mean, I guess he was if the baby was in the street after he left the house, but if we don't even know if it was him, I mean, I just see gray area. And it does sound confusing the more you say it, but that's because it doesn't make sense. And even law enforcement will tell you if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. So I'm popping back to case number F2175908. That is the burglary with intent to commit a felony charge. One of them, I should say. The one that I show a date of February. That one. Even though you don't see it anywhere in these results in the case files. They don't have that February date, but we just saw it. So I want to continue looking. We looked at the arraignment sheet. Or did we? You know what? I don't like wondering, so let's just click it again. Yep, we already saw that, but let's just put our eyeballs on it so we're on the same page here. All right, perfect. So again, this was the first one that we looked at. It shows that 907 and 908. Nope, this is not the first one because this shows 907 and 908 were combined. 907 is injury to a child and 908 is burglary. And remember, the other case was tied burglary to kidnap. That's how they've combined these. So this is 907 and 908. Burglary and injury to a child. I'm not sure who it must be. It must be Cash with the kidnap combination, burglary and kidnap, because he's the one that physically was no longer at his home anymore and found in the street. Trying to make sense of these charges, so that would make sense. These charges here would apply to the neighbor because no one was actually kidnapped, but allegedly he broke into the home, assaulted this elderly man, and attempted to take his grandchild. So that would make sense. This arraignment sheet, these two case numbers are for that previous case. And now it does explain why when I look up 908, I do see the date of February. So all of this ties to the alleged neighbor that we have to find. And the state is paying for his investigation. Wow, they really want to stick it to him. Okay, again, beautiful. If this guy really did it, I love that the state goes so hard. But we know from this recent scenario in Nevada, sometimes they grab that information and they go. They had a father who was not guilty, misidentified. They put an Amber Alert out. SWAT team came down on this guy, snatched his kids from him and everything. All because judgment was rushed. So it happens. All right, now that we cleared that up, 907 and 908 tied together. Got it. That leaves us with 217-5850. Okay. And it should be tied to 5848, the kidnap. And that would be 4 charges. Remember the 5th one we looked up for evading arrest. Didn't pull up anything. So now we're going to go back into 5850. Now there's a lot of documents, and I want to click on all of them in each section, but I was trying to get the story straight first. So now we know we're looking at the Cash Gurnan case here. (5850) is his burglary, entering the habitat with intent to commit a felony and possibly assaulting someone. And let's just see if we can find the connection for the kidnap. It should be on the arraignment sheet if I am correct. See, they don't expect us to look this deep. And it's not there. So where's the kidnap charge if it's not tied directly to this? Well, we'll be pulling it up next, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be tied directly. We're going to look at it. So this is, let me just breeze through this and feel free to read it. I'm not going to read this out loud unless I see something worth talking about. Don't see anything written in there. The clause number is there, and this one has a $750,000 bond. Cash or surety. They don't want him to get out, y'all. Okay. So that's that. The arraignment sheet for the burglary. And let's see what else they've got. Preliminary initial appearance, bond findings, criminal plea, conditions of bond, election of counsel, motion to appoint investigator. Okay, so they're putting the investigator on this one. Let's check this out. Bond findings and criminal plea. Okay. Wow. Wow. So they considered offering a bond, but he didn't get it. I gotta go back to Balboa again, man. I feel like they want this guy so bad just to shut the door on it and not really look any further. And if that's the case, I just hope we got the right person, because how is it possible he doesn't get a bond, but Teresa does? She was caught with the body. We have 2 eyewitnesses that know she was aware of. I'm not going to mix the cases. But this does say, I have reviewed the pretrial risk assessment, the financial affidavit, the probable cause affidavit, and I have considered your financial situation. I have considered granting you a personal bond only in cases where this is not prohibited by Texas law. This is for, again, case ending in 5850, burglary, habitation, intend other felony. For the case referenced above, I am denying a personal bond and settling bail at $750,000 because safety of the victim in the community, ineligible under CCP 17.03, bond setting based on the defendant's arrest history, which, again, unless there's something outside of Dallas, the charges we're talking about are the only charges I found on his history. So that's strange. Pending cases, which are all together. Facts of the offense, no unsupervised contact with minors. So, no bond, but if he can afford it, he could bail out for $750,000. Which he can't. He's 18. Give me a break. Maybe it'll work out and people will raise money. I don't know. If he's not guilty, of course, is what I mean. So, okay, those were the findings. They denied his bond. Apparently, he is a humongous threat, bigger than Teresa Balboa. can't help it. When I look at these records, I'm wondering why her stuff isn't this tight. I don't know what Vienna Convention means, so I'm going to learn today. All right. Case number again, felony first degree. Okay, this looks like it's just informing him of his rights and confirming he is a citizen. Okay. Just gonna keep on clicking, you guys. Feel free to look this up on your own if I am talking too much or going too fast or too slow. But this is how I research. This is how I find what they don't tell us. This is how we have to do it, you guys. We can't believe everything we hear. We can't believe half of what we see. What is it? Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. And that's so real with the media. Oh my God. So the bond conditions, basically, if he were to be able to bail out, he would have to do all of these things. Urinalysis, no drinking, don't get arrested again, not have a deadly weapon, stay in Dallas County, keep them aware of their changes to address or employment. There it is. And be placed on the electronic monitoring program to be paid for by the defendant. So they're going to pay for the other investigations to prove he's guilty, but he's got to pay for his ankle monitor. That's probably how it always goes. I've never had one, thank the Lord, so I don't know. But the irony is still there. He can't be in or on the property of the defendant's primary residence for the hours listed below. I do not see hours. And no unsupervised contact with minors. Got to come to court, of course. He has to take random urinalysis. I kind of skipped those at the top. And no contact with anybody having anything to do with the family of this situation. Little Cassius family. So, there's that. And when you're done looking at those images, you just click them closed and it brings you right back here. We don't have to look at election of counsel, appointment of attorney, motion, appoint investigator. Let me take a look at this. I'm trying to see if the name is there again. So this one is different for sure. And it says, comes now Darriynn Brown, defendant by and through his attorney of record, Heath Harris, in the above styled and numbered cause, and moves the court to appoint an investigator to assist his counsel in this case, and for cause would show the court as follows. The defendant is charged with the offense of burglary, habitation, intent, other felony, and kidnapping, a first-degree felony and a third-degree felony. The defendant is unable to pay an attorney to represent him in the case. The court has appointed the undersigned counsel to represent the defendant in this case. The defendant also requests that the court appoint Sam A. Glaspie as investigator in this case and to assist defense counsel in representing the defendant. Wherefore, the defendant prays that this court appoint an investigator and authorize the payment of reasonable fees and expenses for investigation related to his case. Okay. Well, that's good. So they're going to be investigating on both sides, and the courts are going to pay for it, so that's cool. What do we have down here? They granted the motion. And that name is there again. Investigator of defendant Gordon Kirk in this case. That Gordon Kirk is just, I just got to do some more research and see what that's about. Okay, moving right along. Motion to appoint the investigator. Is this different? Let's see. The order. First was the motion. This is the order, but I thought we saw granted and that would be the same. Yeah, same difference. Okay. So now, I think we only have one more document for this record. Oh, was that the last one? Yep, we got them all. Okay, the only one I didn't look at was the preliminary initial appearance. Because I'm looking for something more like the 3-page document we got on Balboa that tells us what happened. You know what I mean? Maybe I haven't gotten to the right case number yet, but I'm not going to stop. If this video gets too long, feel free to pause, replay, stop playing and look it up, whatever you'd like to do, but I'm not going to break it up because editing is a pain in the butt. My son helps me so much with that, though, bless his heart. So this is instructions relating to preliminary initial appearance. And it just tells us that the bail was set. All charges associated are assigned and shall be filed in criminal court, criminal district court number 1. Okay. So we officially have seen everything for the charge of burglary. One of the charges of burglary, I should say. Those are all the records on that one charge. Case number ending in 5850. Now, I know I looked at a couple of them under 217-5908, but I was more so trying to understand the flow of the documents first. Now, I can actually look at, I want to look at all of them and see if they look any different, because technically they are different cases, you know. This one is another burglary / habitation charge that we know. This is the one that has the date of February in the other document I showed previously. Let's check out the arraignment sheet first. Yeah, we pulled up some of the 908 already, but I'm going to make sure we put it in a flow. Okay, remember 908 burglary and 907 injury to a child are tied together here. Okay, we read this. Again, we're talking about the second burglary habitation charge that is tied to injury to a child. This is the Vienna Convention, which basically just says what I just said. It shows the 2 case numbers, and it talks about his rights as a citizen or non-citizen. Pretty standard. Election of counsel. Preliminary initial appearance was one that we looked at on another one. Let's just see. Okay, we haven't seen this one. It just talks again about the bail amount. It's the same as the other one, $75,000. Okay, go back. Bond findings, criminal plead. Let's see what that's about. Okay. So this one has the $50,000 cash or surety bond. And these are basically the conditions if he were able to make that $50,000 for the injury child, elderly, disabled with intentional or intent to bodily injury. And then the burglary habitation, intend other felony, has a $75,000. So lots of money if he wanted to bail out. And these would be the conditions if he were able to. Okay, moving right along, bond findings. This is another one It says the same exact thing, but it wouldn't be there, I don't think, if it just didn't matter. Or did they do a duplicate on us? It's talking about the bail. Basically just goes back over bond and bail information here for the two charges, burglary and injury to a child. Alright. Appointment of attorney, appointment of attorney. I do want to see a little bit about this. Let's see. He doesn't have money for an attorney. State of Texas versus Darriynn Brown. Let's see if I can understand this. Okay. Okay, they were setting him up with an attorney. Court appointed. Okay, and then June 1st, let's see, was it finalized? I'm just reading, you guys. Same clause numbers, just another appointment with the new attorney. Okay, so that takes care of for the charges. We only have F 2175848 actually as the fourth charge. I want to make sure that's tied to something, or if not. The fifth charge, again, nothing came up for evading arrest. So this one, let's go directly to the arraignment sheet. See if it's tied to anything else. The way those other charges were kind of doubled. It is not. So the kidnapping is all by itself. $750,000 bond. Okay. All right, let's go back. We have a couple more documents for this last charge. The next one would be the conditions of bond. Since we looked at everything else, I'll go ahead and clicky click. You never know. The paperwork is like a movie sometimes. Case number. Okay. The offense of kidnapping, bond, cash or surety, $750,000. This one does have a curfew imposed on defendant from hours 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. So he would be able to move around outside of the home to a certain extent, but not between the hours of 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Okay. But that's a lot of money. With all those added up, I don't think he's going to have to worry about bond conditions. We got to find out if we got the right guy, because... Alright, let's see here. Alright, this was kidnapping. He reviewed, or he or she, the judge, reviewed, or the magistrate, excuse me, reviewed the offense of kidnapping and denied the bond, personal bond. But again, the bail is $750,000. If the bond and bail thing confuses you, please go back and check out the video I have that says bail bond, something like that in the title. If I remember, I'll link it in the description. But it does explain the difference, because there is one, even though it's a real fine line and it can cause confusion. So now, I'm going to pop back. Election of council, I don't think we need to go there. Vienna Convention, again, that's just giving them their rights, whether they're a citizen or not. Preliminary initial appearance. I keep hoping for some narrative here. It's short and sweet. Same thing. Bail was set $750,000. The name of the court. Okay. Appointment of attorney. Affidavit of indigency. That one's new. Let's check it out. Maybe because it's kidnapping. I hereby determine the above defendant is not eligible for the appointment of a court-appointed counsel for the following reason. Incomplete information. Wow. Come on. He's got to be eligible for a court-appointed attorney. He can't afford his own. I need this not to feel like this. Why not? Incomplete information. Well, one attorney did a motion to withdraw. We know he has a new attorney that we just saw speaking recently. They're saying he may be schizophrenic. So who in the heck is going to do the paperwork with all of this fumbling and bumbling going on? Of course it's incomplete. They have to get, he has to get a court-appointed attorney. So I hope there's more documents that we haven't seen yet that says differently. Because what do you do? If you don't get a court-appointed attorney and you can't pay for an attorney, the state can basically do what they will. Because he certainly can't represent himself being 18 and possibly having a mental illness. This is interesting. I told you, this paperwork is like a movie when you really take time and break it down. Tells a better narrative than the media because I don't have to guess. And I don't like he say, she say. We all know that. I've never been that way. Even as a kid, it was like, don't come tell me that he said or she said something about me. I don't care. If it doesn't matter enough for them to come and tell me, I don't care. Plus, I don't even know if I can believe you. Like, come on, just no drama. Oh, thank God I've lived that way. Appointment of attorney. Motion, appoint investigator. Different case. Let's see what this one says. So far, it's been the same investigator. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the same doc. Except that the charges are different. Yep, Sammy Glaspie. Now this one, see, that's why I think the other documents were referring to the other case. Because that, I didn't write his name down, but it's all in here. The gentleman that the investigator is going to be helping, that we mentioned earlier, that hasn't come up really anywhere in the media. It's got to be the old neighbor. But this one says, Glaspie is going to be appointed. It's for Darriynn Brown and his attorney of record, Heath Harris. For, now in this case, they put it together again. And you can see at the top, the cases are linked now. 5850 and 5848. And that makes sense. Burglary and kidnap. So again, burglary and kidnap for cash, and then burglary and injury to child for the other charge. Interesting. It's just weird. Okay, so the defendant is charged with the offense of burglary, habitation, intended other felony, and kidnapping, a first degree and a third degree. The defendant is unable to pay an attorney to represent him in this case. The court has appointed the undersigned counsel to represent defendant in this case. Perfect. Okay, and they also get the investigator. The defendant prays that this court appoint an investigator and authorize the payment. Now, did they do it? Will they pay on this case? Let's check out the order and find out. Looks like it's granted. Looks familiar. Okay, perfect. So he will also get, Darryn's attorney will be granted a sum of $2,000 without additional request to pay Investigator Sammy Gillespie to investigate on his behalf. So that's keeping it cool and fair. He does have an attorney. Okay. The evading arrest, I guess they're going to toss that one out. I don't know. Maybe they just haven't charged it fully yet. But again, we tried to pull that up. Nothing came up. But these are all 5 of Darriynn Brown's charges. All of the paperwork that I can find in Dallas County felony and misdemeanor court case information at this time. And I've been digging. But I don't see anywhere else. I'm just looking this page over. I don't see anywhere else where I can get any more information. Not going to make you guys hang out while I brainstorm. But this here, these are the facts of what he's up against. And this is messy. And once you get in this system, I won't say based on race. I say it has more to do with economic status. Even though we all know a lot of black men get railroaded, yes, but I've seen it happen to people who just don't have the money, and that would be a double whammy in this case. So it's even more important that we keep our minds open, our eyes open, our ears peeled to the ground, and put out and promote any information we can, if we find any, that says that Darriynn didn't do this. If he did, they have what they need. They do not need our help. You can look at all of these charges. The state is working him over. So if he's guilty, he'll get everything he has coming in the state of Texas. But if he's not, we just talked about everything that an innocent young man will go through and could be charged for. I don't want to see this man 40 years from now, when I'm old and decrepit and Darriynn Brown is coming out of jail after serving a prison sentence and DNA proves he's not guilty or something like that. We've seen these stories before, so this is where this one has hit me hard. I just need more facts. Too much speculation. I do not trust Miss Monica nor Cameron. I do think that Cameron fits the silhouette. He knew the entire, he walked us through well, he would have to come in and go this way and do that. He walked us through, and I'm watching that video going, you're telling us what you did. I'm going to share that video for anybody who hasn't seen it. Cameron Morey literally gave a breakdown of how someone would enter and take that baby and leave. Even though he was describing how he felt Darriynn would do it, he gave the exact, come on, guys. I'm just saying, keep an open mind.